Anyway, this Chuck with pocket snakes. Hi there. So I'm gonna flat braid some. I'm gonna flat braid a wrist loop here. So sorry for the camera bouncing, but nobody else is on yet. So I've got 13 strands of black. And so there's 13 strands here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to just set this as best I can. So I'm just going under 3 over 3 and under 3 over 3. So this will make a wrist loop for the whip. Under 3 over 3. It's a really simple pattern. This is 275 paracord. So it's kind of a double fishtail braid, but the main thing about it is you want to be able to have enough width. So this Chuck with pocket snakes. I'm braiding a wrist loop out of some scraps of 275 paracord. It's 13 strands, so I'm braiding a flat 13, just under 3 over 3. So under 3 over 3, under 3 over 3. So there's 6 strands or 7 strands. So that allows you to have an even plating with an odd number, as long as you always start where there's the odd number. I think it makes a nice pattern. And I just, this is going to be a wrist strap for the end of the whip. Flat braiding 13 is under 3 over 3. Makes kind of an M&M pattern. Well, hello there, this Chuck with pocket snakes. Thank you for the like. Just braiding a 275 paracord wrist strap under 3 over 3. There's 13 strands here, so there's 7 strands on this side. The top strand goes under 3 and over 3. And now the 7 strands are on the right, so you go under 3 and over 3. It's a really simple braid, but simple things well done are more difficult than I make it look. Trying to get all the tension just the same. But you too can make wrist straps this way. And I'm going to make a pocket here 9 inches in to hold the ball of the whip. So that should be interesting too. So we're going to go from flat to flat. 3 over 3. You'll see how this knocks down. It's kind of like a watch band almost. It's that kind of a width out of 375 or 275 paracord. So makes a comfortable wrist loop, keeps the whip from flying into the audience, hopefully. Just a nice finishing touch to a snake whip or pair of snake whips. This is the other one. This is what I'm making. So it can be taken off. And under 3 over 3. And put on at will. I'm basically trying to make an identical copy of that. But you can see that these just settle down. It's not braided with a ton of tension. Just enough to snug it down. And it'll settle in after you're done. Somebody's, what am I doing? I'm braiding a wrist loop for a whip. So you can put it over the ball of the whip and around your wrist. So I'm making another copy of that. But a removable wrist loop. So just, I've got 13 strands and I'm just going as a flat braid under 3 over 3. And when I get to 9 inches, I'll split it off. And I'll do 3. I'll do 3 inches of something else. How long will it take? It's hard to say, probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It won't be forever. I'm getting there pretty quick on this. But I thought I'd go live. I was at a show, and so I wasn't available to shoot live for a few days. The main thing you want to do is keep the strand order as best you can. So I've got 7 on the right. So I'm going to go and I'm going to cross those two. I'm going to go under 2 over 1. I'm going to go under 2 over 1. So I'm going to start making a pocket because I'm just braiding on one side. And I don't care if it's super pretty to start with. The goal of this is to create a pocket. And I'm going to kind of snug these down a little bit because I want this pocket to be a little bit tighter than the previous part. And I only want about 3 inches because I've got a certain size ball I want it to grab. Under 2 over 1 on this. The other side you have to braid with a different pattern of some sort. So about 3 fingers worth. I don't really want to go much beyond that because I don't want to make it slip. I want to be able to barely go over the ball. So you have to pin the bottom 2 strands and go up through the center. And then across these 2 strands, we're going to go under 1 over 1 on the right side, and we're going to go under 2 over 1 on the left side because there's only 6 strands here, so you can't do under 2 over 2. Things you should think about when you're laying out your braid project. How are you going to create a pouch? Where are you going to start it? Do you have an even number of strands, an odd number of strands? Too many things to think about. But I just tuck these up a little bit. I want a little more tension in this section. The outside will even the tension up wherever it needs to. But it's harder to deal with. So it's right about even. So I'm going to tilt the camera down a little bit so I can still see the screen. I'm going to unpin this. I'm going to go over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. So that's the pouch. So let's see, I've got 6 on the left and I've got 7 on the right. So under 3, over 3. Under 3, over 3. And we're just going back to an over 3, under 3. And the more you do this stuff, the more you get a hang for it. You want to keep it all flat. And sorry about that. I lost connection apparently. My internet connection's unstable. Anyway, this makes a nice wrist loop, nice width for a wrist loop. Helps keep the whip from flying into the audience if you're a stage performer or in the backyard. So there's 13 strands that we're braiding. This is 275 paracord, so it's a little less than half as thick or half as wide as 550. It makes some pretty plating material. These are the scraps from the two whips. And I left them long. Some people are like, why do you have extra length? Well, it's because I want usable lengths to make stuff like this, where you can make use of all the scraps or almost all the scraps. Don't waste. Waste not, want not type of thing. Got to catch the bottom one. Under 3 over 3. This makes like a double fishtail kind of braid. Bunch of chevrons going up and down. It's kind of a nice pattern. I like it. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate you. I try and share what I do with people that are passionate about braiding or making whips, or people want to make their own whips. Please watch the videos and you can make the same, almost the same whip that I'm showing if you just follow along with the videos. I give you a lot of tips and tricks and tell you what the braiding pressure is like, how much tension I'm putting in where. Because I think the world needs more makers. And I'm here to help people as best I can get better at their craft or their skill, not to cause them angst. Under 3 over 3. It's kind of like a whip maker plate, but flat. Under half the strands, over half the strands. You can do this in 550 cord and it'll be 3 times this wide with 13 strands. But this is 13 strands of 275 paracord. The main thing is trying to keep the strands in order as you do this. So you'll notice that the top 3 strands are above and the bottom 3 strands are below. So every time you go under, one of them is being picked up from underneath, leaving all 3 on top. Same thing over here. You just don't want to roll a strand if you can avoid it. Try and get a little closer so you can watch a little better, but got 3 or 4 more inches to go. I didn't get under the 3rd strand. There we go. Try not to make any mistakes where you can. You just have to play with it. I came up with this because I wanted to do a flat braid and I wanted to do it in 275. So I made the first one. I wasn't sure what I thought. So now I'm making the second one. I'm still not sure what I think of this design, but I just kind of whipped it out of my head. That's how that kind of goes. And like most things, I don't care too much how long something takes. I care that I can get it mostly done. Okay, so I'm going to fold this over. So I'm going to put a pin in it. You have to go through the bottom two, and then up through the middle of a bunch of 275 strands just to hold it. And I need some string, so I'm going over here and cutting some string. And I'll show you how I bring these pieces together. So this is just held together with a slip knot right now. I'm going to take the pin out of it. Finding the center of that strap. I'm going to lay a string across. I'm going to lay it this way. Put this on here. I'm going to start whipping. Lash all those off. There's lots of ways to end the braid. Yeah, lots of ways that work. But on the other one, I put them facing each other so there's a half twist like this. So I need to be sure that I set it in the same basic orientation. Because otherwise one will look different than the other. That half twist helps hold the loop open for those that care. And this is ultra high molecular weight polyethylene or Dyneema string or Spectra string, depending on the brand. This is an off brand. It's a no-name brand. It's 260-pound line that I'm making the whipping with, but it's very slick, which is nice because you can really torque down on it. So there is at least 7 wraps. This little scrap of paracord stuff is called whipmaker cord, but you could use just a piece of paracord. You want to tuck it up inside, and you want to pull it underneath. Grab your Leatherman tool or a pair of pliers. Grab hold of this. And that's why I like this material. You can really crank on it to seat it, and even though it's slick, it won't break. Kevlar scissors work well with this material, if you happen to have them. This is leather shears. So there's one with the split. There's the second one with the split. Give you some idea. And that'll give you a wrist loop. So you put it up like that and put your fingers around where the ball is. And then I'll put a decorative knot around the lashing. And I'm not sure if I'm going to shear all this floof or not. I'm not quite sure what the end design is going to be, but thought I would show the braiding process to make one of these wrist loops with the split pocket, so you could put it over the ball end of the whip and have it locked down. So anyway, let's check with pocket snakes. Thank you for watching. If you like what I do, you can subscribe. What you're doing is illegal? That's interesting. It's not illegal. I'm just making stuff out of scraps. And lots of people have comments, and it's nice to see you guys. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.